Thank you for listening to English with Monty. For bonus episodes, to test your English grammar, book a free 30-minute trial lesson, or to access our conversation group in London, go to linktree/English with Monty. linktr.ee/English with Monty. Today we're talking about fossilized expressions. Hello there and welcome to English with Monty. We're moving on to episode number 70 and I've got Gideon here in a honeymoon suite in Vietnam. Hi Gideon.
Yes, that's really true. Hi John.
Where did you get married?
I didn't. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm here on my own and the hotel didn't have any other rooms and they said, oh, we're going to put you in the honeymoon suite. I said, okay, fair enough. And it's all pink. The curtains are pink. The bed is pink. The chairs are pink. Everything is pink. It's a bit strange, but here I am.
You're feeling romantic though, right?
Well, not really. My wife is in a different continent at the moment. So, no, it's just driving me a bit crazy. It's a comfortable room.
I have seen all the pinkness. Definitely a honeymoon suite, isn't it?
Definitely a honeymoon suite, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's a honeymoon suite. They just put everything pink. Well, does that make it a honeymoon suite? Not really.
I'm not sure if it does
nothing else. It doesn't really qualify. How should we furnish the honeymoon suite? Well, just make everything pink. Okay.
Yeah. Is the bath pink? The two-person bath, is that pink?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's enamel white.
Okay. That's disappointing. You're in Vietnam. I'm in Folkestone. I'm sure the weather is a bit warmer over there. Well, you suggested this last time. So I suppose to some extent, I'm ripping you off because you said you've done a video, which I didn't realize. But we're doing retronyms, which...
Yeah, but you're not following. You're not following the video.
No, I need to watch it. I need to catch up. Honestly, recently I haven't really been watching your videos. I feel a bit ashamed. I normally do. And over the last few months, I've not got into the habit of seeing them. Yeah, you told me this word retronyms. I'd actually not come across this before. So what is a retronym?
Well, probably best to define it with a few examples. So I could say, John, do you still read paper books?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because why would I say paper books? Before, there was only one type of book. They were all made of paper. But when you need a new word for something old, for an older technology, because a new technology has come along, that's a retronym.
It also covers expressions, though, does it? Referring to old technology.
Well, maybe you can tell me more.
Maybe I can, yeah. But that actual phrase, retronyms, does cover expressions and it doesn't just cover changing the name. Is that right?
It is about changing the name. Retro in the past, nym name. Well, I'll give you another example.
Okay.
Do you play an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar?
Neither.
Okay.
Yeah. Acoustic.
Before electric guitars were invented, there was only acoustic guitars. That was the only type there was. If you said 100 years ago, I play acoustic guitar, then they would have said, what are you talking about? You mean a guitar? There you are. That's an acoustic guitar. A silent movie. Should we go and see a silent movie? Like, you wouldn't say that in like 1920. Hey, should we go and see a silent movie tonight? What do you mean a silent movie? There's no sound in the movie. Was it silent? What are you talking about?
I suppose for me, I wanted to approach things in terms of phrases, though, if that's okay with you. I think this is very useful. And I think it's interesting to talk about that stuff. But I thought we'd expand upon the idea of using that old technology aspect. So we spoke about in the last podcast about hang up.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's true.
I'm sure if people have listened to episode number 69, and I think we mentioned it probably in one or two others. So why do we say hang up? I mean, it makes no sense, right? In terms of modern technology.
Well, yeah, you're right. That's not a retronym. I don't know what you call them, like a fossilized expression.
A fossilized expression.
There's probably a technical term for it. So the expression lives on even though the technology behind it has changed. You pick up the phone because the telephone used to be on a receiver, which was on a wall. If you watched old movies, I'm sure you've seen this. So you had to literally pick it up. And then when the call was over, you would hang it up. So, of course, you don't need to do that. Also, like dial. I'm just trying to dial this number. There's no dialing it, right? You just press something on your screen, but you don't dial a number, do you? But yeah, we still sometimes say that.
Well, we do, don't we? It's still an expression that we use, isn't it? Even
Yeah.
if you're typing numbers in, we do say dial the number. I suppose the idea of dialing is it's like a round.
Yeah,
Back in
yeah.
the day, you used to have this
Oh, I
round
remember
thing, didn't
them.
you? Exactly.
Yeah, and you
So
had to wait 10 seconds for each number to get dialed.
they were amazing though, weren't they? Because you had a wheel on the front of your phone, if young people can
Yeah,
imagine this. Well, you've probably seen it. It's very retro, isn't it? You kind of turned the wheel until you got to the number, didn't you? And then it kind of like went back into place, didn't it? And then you did the next number.
yeah,
Very cool.
exactly,
Retro.
exactly.
Should
Yeah.
go back to things like that. So that's one example. And I've got a few examples in front of me. I don't know if you've
Oh, go
got,
ahead.
have you got anything that you can think of that comes to mind? Are you just happy for me to go
Well,
with
you
what I've got?
start. Probably
Okay.
can work out a few, but you start.
Okay. I think the first one I was going to mention is maybe to tune out.
Tune out.
So what does it mean and why is it like a fossilized expression? We still use it, don't we?
Yeah, maybe. You mean tune out in the sense literally like from you're on a radio and you no longer tuned to that station?
I guess that's the literal meaning, isn't it? But for me, it's about stop paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking literally. Yeah. Let's tune out. The opposite, tune in. Yeah.
But I suppose tune in would often be used on the radio, isn't it? Because it's say, oh, tune into my radio show. But yeah, we can use it in a figurative sense, can't we? It's like tune in to my speech. I don't know. Do we say that?
I still, because I sometimes make videos on YouTube
Do
and
you?
I often use
Wow.
these. Yeah, I do. I do.
Oh,
And I
we've already
sometimes
mentioned
use
it. I can't pretend I'm surprised. Sorry, carry on.
it where I'll say an introduction and I'll say, if you want to find out more, then stay tuned.
Ah, there you
Of
go.
course, you don't need to tune in to YouTube. So that comes from the radio technology, isn't it? When you tuned to the right station.
Yeah, it was about moving to the frequency, wasn't it?
I think you could say, even in conversation, stay tuned. I'll let you know in a few minutes.
Mm. No, that's true, isn't it? We could say that, couldn't
Yeah.
we? So to
Yeah.
stay ready to receive the information, I suppose, isn't it? And
Mhm.
then obviously on the radio, it's like stay tuned, stay with me, stay on the same frequency. But that brings me to the next one, actually, to be on the same wavelength.
Oh, yeah. Lots of like radio technology, isn't there? Yeah, exactly. So we're both listening to the same thing. That would be the same wavelengths, wouldn't it? No, it would be like communication, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In order to communicate over the radio waves, we would have to be on the same wavelength.
So that's the literal meaning, isn't it? And then if we're
Yeah.
on the same wavelength, it's like we, I don't know, we
We
match.
agree.
Yeah. Something that we're talking about is matching, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. Sometimes do we say on the same frequency? It's normally wavelength, isn't it? We
Yeah,
say
you can. I think you can. It's less common.
it's less common, isn't it? Yeah, but it is a
Less common.
possibility. I may as well finish off the radio ones. Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Yeah. That's from early radio, maybe early telephone too. Could it be as well?
It's very possible, isn't it? Because that was the idea, wasn't it? Maybe if the line wasn't very clear, then
Yeah.
you could
Hello,
say,
can you hear me? Can you hear? Say it loud and clear.
well, it wasn't very loud or very clear. That would be the idea, wouldn't it? That you can hear somebody well and loud at the right tone. It's like you're receiving a message, isn't it? So, in a figurative sense, it's like, okay, yeah, I've understood what you're saying to me, and I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to action things. I guess that's what it's about, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think so. Do you have any more?
I have got a few more. The big picture.
Why is that a fossilized expression?
That's a good point. I suppose we still have cinema, don't we? It is a cinema related thing, isn't it? I suppose it's because it's like the full frame. Maybe in the past you'd have a smaller image, whereas the big picture is
Yeah.
the bigger image.
Okay.
So you need to look at the big picture, Gideon.
I need to look at the big picture, do I? Not the details.
It's kind of looking at the overall situation, isn't it? Maybe something a bit more long term or a wider angle, a wider look at something in particular, isn't it? An example could be you said to me, I did this video and it was about this amazing tour of London talking about these really famous musicians. I spent so much time on it and it was amazing. And not that many people watched the video.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I was like, yeah, but Gideon, you've got to look at the big picture. You did that video on the present perfect, and 3 million people watched it.
Yes, exactly. Thinking though, there are quite a few when we write emails. Can
Mhm.
you guess what I'm thinking? When we write emails,
Oh, of
we often
course.
refer to things from a typewriter.
Was it carbon copy? So CC stands
You
for carbon.
see somebody. Yeah, that's right.
I'm not 100% sure of the background of that. Where did that come from? It came from
Well, I think
typewriter.
maybe I'm a bit older than you because you've never used a carbon copy.
I mean, obviously, in terms of email, I have.
No, I mean literally a carbon copy.
No. Well, you are about 30 years older than me, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, if you had a typewriter and you wanted to make two copies, then you would have a piece of paper. Behind that piece of paper, you put the carbon paper, and
Mhm.
behind that would be a second piece of paper.
Ooh.
So when you typed in your whatever, your letter, you want to make two copies of the letter, then the carbon copy would make a second copy for you without the need of a photocopier, which people didn't have.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, isn't it? I think a lot of people.
Not really. And usually it was never as good as the original and it got all smudgy. You weren't careful because you pulled it out and then the carbon went out and the paper was still attached to the paper. So it got all smudgy.
You really are showing your age, aren't you? Did you used to
Yeah, I
use.
think so.
You didn't used to use that at work, though, did you? I mean, that must have been before
No.
you
I
went to
think I
work.
was right at the end of that technology, but I remember just using it once or twice, showing how to use it. Yeah.
It's quite a romantic idea, though, isn't it? Something like a typewriter. I'm sure there are still novelists that use a typewriter.
Can I tell you a story,
Of course.
John? I was in like a stationery shop in Paris. It was a couple of years ago, and they were the only place in Paris which I wasn't there to buy ribbons for typewriters. They were the only shop in Paris that still did ribbons for typewriter. And this woman came in and she came to buy a ribbon. And I don't normally speak to anybody in shops, but I
Mhm.
just couldn't resist. I said, "Why are you buying ribbon? Or don't you use a computer or anything?" And she said, "I'm a writer." And I find it's just a totally different experience because if you use a typewriter, it slows you down and you've got to think and you've got to get every word right. Well, not necessarily, but you can't just vomit text. You've got to reflect before you do it. Otherwise, you're going to waste time, you're going to waste paper. So, yeah, we're getting off
Wow.
subject now, John, but I thought that was interesting that she did that.
Well, it is interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's much better than AI slop, isn't it?
Some people still use typewriter, and it's very satisfying hitting the keys. It's a very satisfying experience, actually. And then you reach the end of a line, and you had a manual typewriter, you had to whack it with your hand, and it went on to the next line.
It is
And then
very satisfying, though,
ding.
isn't it? As you say, it's the sound, isn't it? It's quite
Have you
a.
ever typed in a typewriter,
I
John?
have, yeah. I remember at home we used to have a typewriter when I was quite young, I guess. Not that we used it as our main means of communication.
To access the internet.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't work for some reason if we used it with the
Yeah,
internet.
strangely.
I don't,
It must be the
strangely.
modem.
I don't know. It must have been my mum's or my dad's or something like that from back in the day. And it was just lying around and got it out and had a go. It makes a very satisfying sound, doesn't it? When you hit the
Yeah.
button, obviously you have this metal. Well, I guess all typewriters are probably like this, all older typewriters. You have a piece of metal that comes out with the letter on the end, don't you? And obviously strikes the paper.
Yeah.
It is very satisfying. I can understand why she writes that way. I think we lose these things, don't we? Of course. But yeah, there we go. It's carbon copy. What about BCC? Is that related to typewriters?
That's a good question. That's blind carbon copy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's just like an extension of carbon copy, but I have to check that.
Okay, sure.
If you're typing generally on a computer, you cut and paste.
That's true.
Before you literally cut, if you had to remove a piece of text, you literally cut it and you wanted to put it at the top, you literally paste it at the top. So people forget that.
It was a literal thing, wasn't it? Was it maybe more to do with newspapers, though, rather than
I think so, yeah.
so you'd literally cut it with a pair of scissors out of where you'd printed it and then paste it with
Yeah.
glue, I guess, wouldn't you, onto background or whatever. So obviously we use that every day, don't we? Cut and paste with a Word document or whatever. Those are two interesting expressions that we do still use. Were there any more you wanted to cover related to that? Because I've got a few more, maybe.
Well, you go ahead, John.
Okay, maybe talking about cars, mechanical devices. So backfire.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
I think that's quite
exactly.
a good expression. You say, "Oh, I tried to, I don't know, I can't think of a good example with
I tried to be
backfire."
nice by telling her XYZ, but it backfired.
It backfired and she slapped me in the face.
Yeah,
Exactly. When a plan fails, isn't it, really, and it causes the opposite effect.
yeah.
I could say my marketing plan backfired. I'd really planned it well. I thought I was going to get hundreds of new students, but I didn't get any. So it backfired.
I tried to impress the customers by using AI images, but it backfired because all the customers hated it and they told me to stop spreading this slop.
Is that a true story?
Not really. I will tell you though, sorry to go on another sidetrack, but when AI first came out and you get all these images from different software like Mid-Journey and stuff like that, and it was absolutely fantastic. But wow, it's amazing. You just put in the prompt and you get everything out. That's amazing. And I love technology. I'm a geek. I use some in my videos, but not anymore. I stopped. That was when it was a new technology. It was interesting and stuff like that. But now AI slop everywhere. I don't want any part of it. So I don't use it anymore. No,
You don't use
definitely not.
AI at all?
I don't use the images. I don't
Okay.
use it. What do I use AI for? Nothing really. I think I had to do a search on ChatGPT or something like that. But I get ChatGPT to check my punctuation for
Okay.
writing because it's sometimes good and I might leave something out. But the images, no, I don't use it.
Well, backfire, where does that come from originally? Where's the original idea of it from?
I'm thinking, is it guns? I'm thinking, is it sometime the gun would jam? But I don't know. I don't know much about firearms. Maybe a cannon and it would like fire, it wouldn't fire correctly, or a gun. Is that right? Do you have the
I
answer?
well, I thought it was an engine, to be honest. I mean, it could be to do with guns, but from what I know and what I understand, it's like an engine kind of misfires, so it'll make a big bang sound, won't it? You don't obviously have that nowadays, but in the past, sometimes you had this idea of a bang coming out of the exhaust and it was the engine misfiring. It could be guns as well. Not sure. At least for me, it would be an engine. Yeah, you've got to make sure you don't go off the rails, though.
Off the rails. Yeah, I think I know the origin of that one. I think it's on trams rather than railways.
Ah, is it? Okay.
You had like in the 1920s, America, sometimes the tram was on rails and sometimes it would not perform as it should.
So it leaves the
And
track. Obviously, we still have rails, don't we, in railways?
could be
Relate.
railways. I think it's trams where I read.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, people can relate to it, right? What does it mean if I say you're going off the rails? What does it mean?
That you've suddenly doing strange and your behaviors become uncontrollable and maybe you're losing your mind a little bit.
Kind of chaotic as well, isn't it? You say Gideon was making three excellent videos a month and now he's gone off the rails and he just produces one really shoddy video where he just groans in front of the camera for 10 minutes and nobody's watching it.
I think there's an element of madness. I think that would be a more like sort of gone to pot or something like that. I think
Oh,
that
well,
off the rails,
that's
I
true.
would say is an element of craziness in your behavior.
I suppose so, yeah, isn't it? It's more about being uncontrolled, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I suppose if you're in a situation where you have to have a lot of discipline and have to be very focused, then you could say somebody's gone off the rails, couldn't you? They're not
Yeah.
going in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
There were a couple more. Hit the brakes. Do we usually say that? Sometimes. We could say hit the brakes, couldn't we? So it's like we need to hit the brakes on spending.
But is that old technology or is it just a metaphor? Or is it just a metaphor like using brakes?
Yeah, it's not really old technology,
Well,
is it?
like cut and paste, it's not a metaphor. It's just you're using an old technology to describe something that you're doing today. I think off the rails would just be a metaphor.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
But if you're actually using a technology, but you're saying it in an old way, like hang up the phone.
That has to be the idea of it, really, doesn't it? Hot off the press.
Yeah, that
That
would
would
be because you're
definitely be.
talking about some sort of new piece of information becoming available, but there's no paper involved and there's no metal presses making the paper hot. So that would be relevant. Yeah.
Yeah, because you could say the results are hot off the press.
Yeah.
We've got the sales figures in front of us. I've literally just got this from my
Yeah.
boss this morning. So,
Exactly. I think so. Also, things like rewind, you would say, I'm watching this video, I'm just going to rewind it.
hmm.
But if you're watching streaming video or Netflix or something, there's no winding involved or fast forward.
But I guess that comes from the fact that you had a tape, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then a similar expression, wind down. It's not exactly the same, but it's using wind. So wind down, that definitely fits the bill, doesn't it?
Well, it depends. What do you mean?
Because it's a mechanical clock. I mean, we don't have mechanical clocks nowadays, do we? And wind down is related to that idea, isn't it? You're
Yeah. Yeah.
winding down on the beach.
I would still say that's a metaphor, though. If you're
Right.
winding down the beach, there's no new technology using a term from an old technology, which is like the fossilized expression. You're just using one thing as a metaphor.
Okay, but we're still using old technology in the metaphor, right? There's nothing else in new technology that winds down. I know what you mean, as in obviously hang up, we still use it and we use it with new technology.
Like if hang up, the vocabulary hasn't been updated. You could just say press close or whatever, press
hmm
stop, but we continue to say I can hang up. So
Yeah.
it's like the old technology hangs on for what we're doing, even though things have changed.
I think it's a little bit difficult though to get a lot of those expressions. I suppose we've covered most of them, but wind down, I suppose it's using old technological expressions, but we don't use it with new technology, do we? But here it's literally the mechanical clock is not working
Mm.
anymore, is it? Because you would have to turn it to make the mechanism
Yeah.
have tension, wouldn't you?
Mhm.
Therefore, after a while, it winds down, as in it relaxes. It doesn't have that tension. As a person, it's relax and slow down, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're like a cog in a machine. Is that okay? I can use that one.
Well, again, I think it's a metaphor.
Well, of course.
I don't know,
I
like hold your horses. You're not literally holding horses. You wouldn't say that in a car. It's just a different way of presenting an expression which uses old technology, but it's not new technology still hanging on to old technology.
Of course. I'm not going to get enough unless I include these ones because I can't think of any others.
Okay.
Well, let's include this one anyway. A cog in a machine. What does that mean exactly? If you feel like a cog in a machine.
That you feel insignificant, you're just a very small pile of something much, much bigger,
Yeah.
and you probably don't feel comfortable about it. You want more control. It's quite a negative expression, isn't it?
It is really, isn't it? It's often when you don't feel appreciated, isn't it? Maybe you work in
Yeah.
a large multinational company and somebody says, "Oh, how's work?" And you're like, "I'm just a cog in a machine. I provide a function and make everything work somehow, but you don't really feel fully appreciated."
Yeah.
How often do you blow a fuse?
Literally, you could blow a fuse if you have a fuse box in your house. If not, it just means getting angry, doesn't it? Losing your temper.
It does.
Not very often.
Not very often. Very relaxed guy, aren't you? I can't imagine you getting angry. It's suddenly becoming very angry, isn't it? Do we still have fuses, don't we? Of course. The electrics don't work if the fuse goes, depending on which part of the fuse doesn't work. So you could say he blew a fuse when he heard the news, as in, oh my God, that's terrible. I'm so angry.
Blew a fuse when he heard the news
It's kind of rhyming, eh?
and got the blues in Toulouse. Yeah. Okay.
Interludes, exactly. It's perfect. I mean, we still have these, but recharge your batteries.
Yeah. It just means to
Say
have a
that one
holiday. You're on air
to be on air. Is it not
because
literal?
we're not on the airways.
That's true.
That will be a perfect one because we continue to say on air. It doesn't go through the airways, it goes through the internet thingy.
Yeah, it goes through cables.
It goes through Wi Fi, I guess, is air.
Well, I suppose so, yeah. I suppose ultimately it goes through a cable, doesn't it, eventually? So we should say
Yeah.
we're on cable, we're on fiber optic. So recharge your batteries is when you need to rest to get your energy back. Maybe you've had a very hectic week, and I say to you, look, Gideon, just take the weekend and recharge your batteries.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Then obviously it's literal. We always recharge our battery on our phone, on our laptop, on our tablet. They're still very
Mhm.
important, aren't they, batteries? I like these expressions, just a couple more and we can finish off. To be cut from the same cloth. I like this expression. That's a nice one.
Yeah, I guess it's like two people who have a lot in common. Me and Bob, cut from the same cloth. Would you use it like that?
I don't know, often it's about your skills, is it? Is it often about skills? So you could
Hmm.
say,
Or criminality?
is this about you and Bob? What
Yeah.
have you and Bob been doing recently?
I know.
Yeah, you could say me and Matt cut from the same cloth. We're both excellent actors. Just
Yeah.
that one of us became world famous and the other not so much. Both
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
I guess this is textile origin, isn't it?
Yeah. I
So,
think a
mhm,
tailor would have cloth, cut a suit of clothes from it.
mhm. Yeah,
And if you're using the same cloth for someone else, then it's going to be quite similar, isn't it?
very much so. Yeah. This is the last one, but feel free to add any more if you would like to. So run like clockwork.
That's fine. It means very predictable in the timings that a person, maybe I'm not explaining it well, but if you give an example. So you give an example, John. I can't think of an example.
This podcast, everything runs like clockwork.
Very efficient.
Yes, very
Yeah.
smooth without any problems.
Our plan ran like clockwork. Everything went exactly according to plan.
Yeah, that's how we think about it, isn't it? And obviously, I guess it's from clockmaking, isn't it? How you'd make sure the clock was running correctly to the minutes and the hours, etc.
Yeah, clockwork, maybe in this day and age it isn't, but in the old days it was famous for its efficiency and predictability, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, very much
That
so.
it was the height of efficiency, clockwork, where the minute hand would be in half an hour and the hour hand in an hour and the second hand in a second.
I guess it was very much about precision, wasn't it? So it took
Yeah.
a great deal of skill, I imagine, to do that. Did you have any others you would like to add?
I think covered quite a lot.
We
I don't have
have
any more.
really. Hopefully, they're quite useful for people. I suppose the point is that we still use all of the expressions today, don't we?
Mm,
Whether we do
yes.
use the technology or not, or whether modern technology is involved or not, they're all obviously related to past technology. They're quite useful, quite current.
Yeah, I think so.
Tell us about yourself.
I do have a YouTube channel called Let Them Talk TV. I do talk about history of English and that kind of thing. I also made lots of videos about the English language, so do check it out on YouTube. Let Them Talk TV.
I want to see your episode where you're filming in your honeymoon suite. So
Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
great. I'll check it out. It's been great having you on the show. And thanks for joining me, Gideon.
My pleasure.
You've been listening
Thanks.
to English with Monty. Thanks for listening to English with Monty. For bonus episodes, sessions with the teacher, and discounts through our website, please sign up at patreon.com/English with Monty. Or you can join us for our English conversation group in London at meetup.com/Monty-English-conversation.